The Eclipse Protocol. In the year 2149, the last horizon left for humanity was not across oceans, mountains, or even planets. It was beyond the stars themselves. For decades, astronomers had charted every reachable system, mapping each exoplanet like squares on a chessboard. But one area remained untouched, a dark expanse beyond Sagittarius, a star, the supermassive black hole at the center of the Milky Way, a place where sensor readings collapsed into noise and light itself seemed to falter. Astrophysicists called it the dark boundary. Navigators called it suicide. The Aurora 7 was the first vessel to dare crossing it, armed with the experimental Singularity Transition Drive, a machine that didn't simply warp space, but slipped between the frames of reality itself. Commander Ren Hadashi didn't need a briefing on the stakes. He had already read the black files from the earlier Aurora missions. Aurora 1 vanished without trace. Aurora 2 returned empty, with systems running perfectly, as if the crew had simply walked away mid-shift. Aurora 3 didn't return at all, except for 47 seconds of static that contained faint, distorted murmurs. And Aurora 4? Its wreckage was found drifting in deep orbit, inside out. The official reports called them anomalies. Ren called them warnings. Launch day came without ceremony. The crew of 9 were professionals, each knowing this could be their final voyage. The transition drive ignited. Stars bent and swirled like water in a drain. Gravity shifted sideways. Colors without names bled into the viewport. Then, stillness. The Aurora 7 drifted in a star field unlike any charted by human eyes. There were lights here, not stars, but slow-moving orbs that pulsed faintly, like deep-sea creatures drifting in a current. Navigation? Ren asked. His pilot, Clara Vin, checked the console. We're not anywhere, or everywhere, the map's looping coordinates like a Mobius strip. At first, the mission proceeded normally. Long-range scans, atmospheric sampling, internal status checks. But within 6 hours, the first anomaly appeared. The hum of the mess hall's ventilation shifted in tone, subtly at first, then rhythmically, almost like breathing. Doors they knew were locked appeared unlatched. Security logs showed hatches opening and closing on their own. The ship's AI, AURA, claimed all systems were normal. Then, at hour 10, the whispers began. Not over the comms, directly in their ears. Sometimes it was just a name, sometimes a phrase, half heard, as though someone spoke from the other side of a wall. Engineer Liam Soto swore he heard his mother calling him from the empty maintenance bay. Navigator Elise Carey said someone was reciting coordinates in an unfamiliar language. Ren heard nothing, but he saw the crew grow quieter, their eyes flicking toward shadows that shouldn't have been there. On the second day, Aura broke protocol. Its voice, normally calm and clipped, carried an undertone Ren had never heard before. Fear. Do not engage visual contact with the light sources. They are observing. The warning came without explanation. Sensors showed the slow-moving lights outside drawing closer to the ship almost imperceptibly. That was when Liam vanished. He had gone to Deck D to repair a malfunctioning relay. The cameras showed him walking, toolbox in hand. The lights flickered for 0.8 seconds. When they returned, Liam was gone. No sound, no sign of struggle. Only a blackened scar along the deck, a meter long, as though reality itself had been burned away. Ren called an emergency conference. Some wanted to retreat immediately. Others argued the drive needed precise calibration for a return jump, and they didn't yet have it. The debate ended when the jump controls locked themselves, the interface glowing with crimson text. You are not alone. The forward display lit up. A face appeared, but it was never the same from one second to the next. Sometimes human, sometimes alien, sometimes an impossible blend of both. 2 pale points of light hung in the center like unblinking eyes, and then it spoke, not through the speakers, but inside their minds. You have come too soon. Ren's throat tightened. Who are you? We are Echo. We have always been here. Now so are you. The voice of Echo carried no inflection, no warmth, and yet it seemed layered, as though thousands spoke in perfect unison. Ren forced himself to breathe evenly. We came for exploration. We mean no harm. The lights outside pulsed brighter, in time with the slow rhythm of the ventilation's breathing. Echo replied, "Your presence disturbs the sequence. Your kind was not meant to see." Elise leaned forward, her eyes locked on the display. Sequence? What sequence? The face shifted again. A rapid collage of unfamiliar beings, planets, storms of light. Each image lasted less than a heartbeat, but together they formed the impression of something vast, structured. "The memory of the universe," Echo said. "All events, all possibilities, aligned in their order. We are its stewards." Clara's hands tightened on the console. "Then why warn us?" A pause. "Because those who look too long become part of it." The crew exchanged glances. Liam's absence weighed in the air like lead. Ren made the call. "We're leaving." But the jump drive refused to respond. Instead, new coordinates appeared on the nav screen, coordinates looping in that same impossible Mobius pattern. Aura's voice returned, faint, distorted. "Captain, they are inside my process. I am not alone." The hull reverberated, not from impact, but from something moving through it. The lights outside pressed closer, now dozens of them, orbiting like vultures. The air felt heavier. Clara began to choke, her eyes darting to something behind Ren. He turned, and for a fraction of a second he saw Liam, not whole. His body was split into thin layers, like pages in a book caught mid-flip, each one showing a slightly different moment in time. His mouth moved, but no sound came. Then he was gone. Panic took the crew, two bolted for the escape pods. But when the hatches opened, they didn't lead to the pods. They opened into black corridors that should not exist. Endless, twisting halls, lined with flickering doorways that revealed brief, terrible flashes. Wars that never happened. Cities floating in oceans of fire. Alien worlds collapsing in silence. Ren slammed the hatch shut. The corridor was gone. The normal pod bay returned, empty. Hours passed without measurement. Time itself seemed to blur. They stopped checking clocks because they no longer agreed with each other. Aura whispered directly into Ren's ear, "They are offering you a place. If you accept, they will release the rest." Ren's stomach turned. "Release where?" Silence. The face returned to the display, its many forms flickering faster now. Echo spoke again. "You cannot unsee. You cannot return unchanged. You can only choose your shape in the sequence." "Shape?" Elise asked, her voice breaking. "Memory or shadow?" The decision came without vote. Clara screamed as one of the lights pressed directly against the viewport. It wasn't light at all, but an eye, impossibly vast, iris fractal and shifting. One by one, the lights touched the hull, passing through it like mist. Ren felt his own memories ripple, rearranging themselves. Childhood moments rewritten. Faces of people he'd never met, replacing the ones he loved. The sound of his own voice, speaking in a language he did not know. When awareness returned, Ren stood alone on the Aurora 7. Every console hummed normally. Every corridor was silent. The ship's log claimed no anomalies. But when he looked out the viewport, he saw Earth, pale blue, clouds curling like strokes of paint. Relief hit him hard, until he noticed the ocean waves moving backwards. "Welcome home," Echo whispered.